Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Aaron Bailey, aka Iris Illusion, coming at you with another fun live makeup tutorial. Now, much like the last stream, the comment section for both my TikTok and YouTube channels have been turned off for personal reasons. I am here just to have fun, showcase the makeup skills and such, and just have a good time without anything being blown up in the comment section for any stupidity, whatnot. We all have our personal opinions, we all have our feelings and whatnot, but this is supposed to be a fun, safe place for all of us to just have a kiki, a fun little good time. So with that being said, for today's makeup look, I'm going to be doing something a little bit more on the, well, I guess it's more the same for me, but another fun abstract look. For those who are on my TikTok live feed, if you look in your top right corner, today's look is inspired by the Butterfly Pea blue flowers, which are used in the Butterfly Pea teas. Reason why was just because one day me and my husband went shopping and we saw this and wanted to give it a try, which does have good, like, natural-esque calming abilities. So because of that, I looked up about this flower and thought, what a very beautiful color and design scheme. And so I told myself, well, why not do a look inspired by that, which is what we're going to be doing here today. So the color schemes with some yellow, some very vibrant blues, cerulean and such, and then as well as just creating a fun, almost avant-garde style eyeshadow look. So even though if the comments section is turned off, your likes and support for the videos and channels is more than enough validation. I don't need all the clickety-clackety yammering going on when I just want to focus on having fun with everyone. So, getting started, we're just priming up the face. With today's primers, I am adding something that I haven't touched in a while, which is my L'Oreal Perfecting Magic Base Primer. I'm going to be mixing this with a little bit of my LA Girls Blurring Primer just to kind of give my face a little bit more blurring. And we're just going to start with the upper half first just to try to get things started here. Do have a few new products I'm going to try out today. I did try one of them out on my last look and I was thoroughly impressed. But it has gotten to that point where I need to kind of start color correcting a little bit under my eyes since the dark circles are starting to show just a little bit. So this is just a little personal thing for me, which is something that I haven't discussed in my last few videos about what color correcting is. So color correcting, much like the name states, it's to help color correct the undertones that are showing up underneath makeup. For instance, with someone who has severe dark circles due to like lack of sleep and such, it shows like a weird grayish hue either underneath the eyes, or especially for drag queens or female impersonators where their beard line can possibly show, it has a weird gray undertone that can either show up through stage makeup or even on cameras, if you will, if they do not have that kind of coverage. But you can use certain color correctors to cancel out those undertones, such as if you're trying to cancel out blue undertones, you want to use like a peach to orange, or even possibly not dark, or even red, it depending on the severity of your skin color, can cancel out those undertones underneath foundation. So usually if you're someone who's like a deep skin tone, usually a red will help cancel out that undertone. For someone as light as I am, sometimes a peach or even a borderline orange could help reduce that color tone that could show up underneath foundation. Now thankfully for me, my beard line or area doesn't really show underneath my foundation as much. If anything, it's kind of the chin, but by the end of the day, I mean, I'm wearing my makeup for almost about 10 hours or so for work, so I'm not expecting it to fully cover everything, but as much as I can works a long ways. So Um, Trying to think of some interesting things to talk about. Recently got back into playing Pokemon. Been bouncing between Diamond, Brilliant Diamond, Legends Arceus, Sword, and Violet. Kind of hoping around when Christmas time comes around, or even if Black Friday sales permit, I want to try getting Let's Go Eevee just to kind of replay that nostalgic like Pokemon Blue. I remember starting that off as a kid, playing Pokemon Blue with a Game Boy Color, and that was always fun. Had a level 64 Charizard, if I remember correctly. Been playing Pokemon Go, catching some fun ones. Really been taking a good advantage of Pokemon Home, of trading around and getting certain Pokemon that I just never can catch because I don't have either the sister games like Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet, or even a Diamond and Pearl. So I've been kind of using that to a fun advantage just to getting the ones that I need. Let's see. As well as trying to think. Just kind of bouncing off random subjects to try to keep the thing going, but oh, interesting fact. My husband looked up about the sales for the Silent Hill 2 remake that just came out. Well over 3 million copies already sold within like the first few days that the game came out. I'm hoping that Team Blooper, if given the chance that they could, would do remakes for Silent Hills 1, 3, and 4, and hopefully Origins, because that game deserves a reach-on if done properly. So since my LA Colors concealer is starting to go low, I found one hidden in my foundation box. It is the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear. This is in 325 Eggshell, which is another good full coverage concealer in my opinion. But out of my price range, I'm surprised I even found it still sitting in the bottom of my tote. A tie between that one, the e.l.f. Camo Concealer, or even the Hard Candy Concealers were some of my top favorites at my store. But I do love the LA Color Ultimate Coverage Concealer more for at least the price range. But when you're using a lot like I do, it tends to run out fairly quickly, unfortunately. So this is just kind of a substitute until I get another one on hand. Okay, got the base kind of down, so now we're going to move on to brows.
Yay! So fun.
Where's that brush? No. And also, I completely forgot, I have my new work area set up, which I'm hoping will work, but already I'm keep bumping my foot against the bar, so if it shakes every once in a while, my apologies. I'm gonna start with... Not doing anything like crazy for the brows, just my standard drag brow, if you will. Because I'm gonna at least try doing something different with the eyes because of the design of the flower. I kind of want to do somewhat of a mix of the really downturned eyeshadow look to where it kind of gives a bit of a mopey feel to it, just because these flowers are supposed to stimulate relaxation and such. So we're gonna keep the brows just kind of simple. But when we're pulling that eyeshadow, we're gonna pull it upwards to the tops of the beginnings of the brow. Buffing out the front ends here. Okay, so we got our brows on. Now we're going to set the upper half of the face with my usual concoction of airspun powder mix. You stop it. Oh, duh. There we go. I guess if anything, the one thing I want to rehash on, or at least retry doing, was my quote-unquote movie review with twisters, just to kind of break the ice here. My opinion of the movie, I think, is pretty incredible. I give it a good solid 8 out of 10, considering that the original has been my all-time favorite movie that I've been watching since I was a kid, which kind of got me started into the idea of meteorology, but never took off on it. And here we are, what is it, almost 18 years later, since 1996, that we finally get like a quote-unquote continuation, if you will. Even though the movie itself is more of like a standalone. I've been such a fan of the original because of the, well, to be honest, like the time when CGI wasn't exactly at its finest, but for 1996, you can't tell me that those tornadoes didn't look incredible. That's better. That. How did that liquid come to? Swear to God, in this room, you set one thing down and it never falls back. Oh well, we'll fix it. So, some of the fun things that I noticed with the movie is some of the subtle hints that recall back to the original. One of them, the biggest one being, now, warning, spoilers, but this movie's been out for several months now and it's already on DVD at my store, so one of the biggest things was the rodeo scene with Kate and Tyler kind of trying to break the ice with their little quote-unquote tension that's going on, which I wish there was more of a build-up with that, which is why the movie, in my opinion, is a solid 8 out of 10. There's not enough to the story between the idea of them trying to disrupt the tornadoes as much as I had hoped, or at least the trailers led on to the idea. It reminisces the idea that this girl goes through a tragedy with losing all of her friends during their chase trying to disrupt a tornado, which they thought was an F1, turned out to be an F5, and basically killed off her friends, just like with Joe in the original losing her dad to an F5. And then the whole story basis is of Kate trying to break out of this little PTSD of hers, which is great and all, but I mean, I was hoping for more action and science that's behind the idea of them being able to disrupt a tornado by using what they call water lock, or sodium polyglycite, which is what they can use in diapers, or sometimes moisture absorbents that they use at the bottom of like storm cellars or basements to keep the humidity dry so that way it doesn't create like mold and mildew. Anyways, I was hoping there would have been more touch-ups on that instead of just this idea that this girl's going through a tragedy and she's trying to get over it, so to speak. I was hoping they would have touched up more on the science of the movie rather than anything else, but back to the story at hand. So they're at the rodeo enjoying themselves, and then out of nowhere, this humongous, I'm going to assume F4 tornado comes roaring through, and it's almost like nobody saw it coming, even with the modern day tech of using radars and Dopplers on your phone. which is a cute little nod to the movie theater scene in the original, where that huge F4 just comes out of nowhere and destroys the entire movie theater. Other cute little nods or recalls to the movie during the twin scene where they find the twin tornadoes harpens back to the water spouts where one tornado splits into two. The part where she watches the wheat field and tells Javi to go left because the winds shifted to the north, which with meteorology terms the inflow of warm air pushed to the weaker tornado, which is what it needed to grow in strength, to where the other tornado that looked more promising died off in the end because it didn't have the strength that it needed to survive. The whole turn left thing kind of went back to with Jonas and them when they were following Joe during the first tornado in the wheat field scene. There's little fun, subtle nods and hints to the original that I'm glad they kind of kept knocking in there for those of us who are big fans of the series. I just wanted more storyline, or at least somewhat more chase scenes like they did in the original. Because I think the original did it, within maybe a 2-day time span, if I remembered, when the outbreak started. But seeing some reviews from real meteorologists that not all storm chasing is that glamorous, because you can go an entire season of storm hunting and probably not catch anything. And that's just a real possibility when it comes to tornadoes. I mean, it's unpredictability left and right, no matter where you are. You can get a feel for the area, and then sometimes the tornado will pull a completely different move, which is exactly what happened with the El Reno tornado back in 2013 that unfortunately killed Tim Samaras and his son and I think it was his partner from National Geographic's, that they misjudged the trajectory of that tornado as well as it rapidly growing in strength. And most storms, especially in the Midwest, don't directly go due north. But this one did, which threw a lot of these storm chasers and novices off their game. And they miscalculated the severity of how powerful this storm was going to be. Which again harpens to the end of the movie where this tornado hits an oil refinery. Now this was something that was done in the trailer, which I wish they would have kept, where they said something along the lines of that the tornado was growing in strength, or that the heat was intensifying it, which Hollywood magic can make it happen, and theoretically it could happen when you have such intense column of heat pushing up into the storm. It could feed its strength. So they weren't 100% wrong on it, but with Hollywood magic, they love this idea of a tornado touching over fire, and then it becomes a fire whirl. I mean, we've had it from Into the Storm, Fire Twisters, Ice Twisters. They have all these movies that kind of replicate this idea that if a tornado touches over something, it becomes something like this or whatnot. It's cute, but I agree with a lot of these meteorologists that kind of judge the movie with their practices. Now, a lot of it's just more Hollywood magic than reality. Let's see, what was another? I mean, in all honesty, I think it's a great movie. I'm hoping with the ambiguous ending that it was given, there could be a chance they might make a sequel to it that does more on the science of destroying tornadoes. or showing the idea that over the course of time these storms will become more intense over the years, which in reality they have been. I mean, look at us. Not too far along in November at the beginning, and we've already had 2 tornado outbreaks within a 2-day time span between early mornings to late night early mornings from times come, which is crazy. But when in Oklahoma. Okay, so starting off with this makeup look now that we're getting into it, I'm going to take my W7 Mardi Gras palette using Sapphire and Rivers down here to create the start of this look. And we're just going to take a bit of a dense brush here and going into Sapphire, which is this deep navy blue. Sorry. And we're going to trace out the shape of the eye. So we're going to pull the crease up from where my natural crease bone is and pull it further up and then pull down to give a more dowdy appearance. And we're just gonna create the base for it. So, and then we're going to take a denser brush and we're going to go in with Rivers and we're just going to buff out this color. Pulling it up into the brow and just kind of pulling down. And using little circular motions to really blend out these colors. And going back in with Sapphire. I'm just gonna reinforce that color a little bit. Then, without adding any product, we're just gonna go back in and blend and make sure it's seamless and not heavy. Okay, so that's the start of it, as well as just grabbing a little bit of Sapphire again. We're just going to create this corner. Now we're going to cut this crease. We're going to take a flat angle, or not even an angle, but just a flat concealer brush. I'm going in with my, my Revolution Cut Crease Full Coverage Primer Paint. We're just going to create the shape. Going in with my concealer brush here, we're just going to buff in. Very drag, very high. And then we're just going to take a, let's see here. So we're going to take this royal blue from the Glam Light Artistry palette, and we're going to form our lid. With this angular brush. Alright. And I'm touching back in with Sapphire. We're gonna make sure the corner is blended into that dark blue. Now it's gonna be the fun part. We're gonna take the yellow from that artistry palette and we're gonna fill in this negative space with yellow, which we will pull back into the under eye area. So we're gonna create like a fun, and it's okay if it overlaps into the blue. We'll just cover that back up here in a minute. Much like so, we're creating that fun yellow-blue gradient color. And it doesn't have to be completely pretty right now. I'm going to go back in with royal blue and just make sure that the yellow is stained. There we go. So that's kind of the basis of the eye. What we're going to do with this makeup is when we do the under eye, the yellow kind of pulls out in while the blue kind of cuts in underneath. So it's kind of like a double crease, if you will. But we'll get to that here shortly. So that is one eye finished, or at least the upper half thus far. Oh, what other topics are there? I don't know, honestly. Guess I just want to try to focus on this eye to see if I can get this symmetrical. Which, God forbid, symmetry and I are not on good terms. Okay. Something tells me they're not going to be completely sisterly, but we will try. Beep beep, Georgie. And taking whatever's left on that angle brush from the royal blue, we're just gonna probably not going to be completely symmetrical, but we will try our darndest here. Well, hey, Aquaria. Close enough. Okay. I love how I can get one eye the shape that I needed to, but then the other one is just too lax to say, I don't give a shit. Oh well. Let's see. Okay. Alright, back into that yellow. Yeah, like one eye is just a little wider than the other, but oh well. It is what it is. Alright. I'm just kind of touching up the outer corners. Good enough for now. Ah, right near that. Okay, and now we're going in with my Florence matter stick. Adding just a touch of my L'Oreal LA color base. Alright. So, as usual, we're going in with my... Oh, actually, before I do, here's a new product that I've been using. So this is the Lottie London Bright Bounce Concealer to help reduce, like, dark circles and such. Now, this is in the shade Deep, which was the only one they had at my store that was on clearance. However, because it is a deep shade, it does work as a quote-unquote color corrector for my skin tone. So just taking a little bit on this packing brush here, we are going to lightly pack this in. And this also works as a concealer base because it sort of dries itself down and sets. So this just kind of helps to reduce the appearance of dark circles underneath the foundation. So we're going to take my L'Oreal Superstay concealer and work on the outer edges of the eyes. And then taking Eggshell from L'Oreal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Streak. I'm going to get to this bottom edge. We're going to take my Real Techniques finger sponge here. Going to help blend all this in. Oh, goodness me. Cool. Now onto the other side. First verse, same as the first. Second verse, same as the first. For those who ever watch Ed, Edd and Eddy. Okay. Oops. Cool. It's pretty symmetrical for once. Completely forgot I was supposed to do this on the other half. Oh well. So, what I've been also mixing in with my foundation is using this Super Serum foundation drops from Revolution. It's a hyaluronic acid foundation which does help with moisture. To me, this is almost like a light to medium coverage, and I'll show you here in a minute. No, it did drop, didn't it? I'm not doing any hostings, thank you very much. And look at that, how good of a coverage that is on its own. However, I'm still going to be adding in my foundation into the mix just to make sure that there's enough coverage. Alright. And then just to kind of even out the lower half of the neck because it's pretty tan, I'm going to take my Catrice makeup here and just focus this on forcing. Oh wow, this entire time I haven't even contoured my nose. I am not with it today. I'm just wanting to get with these eyes and see if I can make this flower come true. Good enough. Alright, time to set this monstrosity. Ooh, that was almost a bad mess. Again, I am not with it, because here I am skipping the freaking contour, for God's sakes. And the blush. I'm not with it today. I guess since we're kind of focusing more on the eyes, we'll keep the contour a little lighter than I normally do. Well, at least we have the neck set, so that's a good start. So for blush today, I'm going in with 3 tones. I'm going to go in with Swipe Right as the base, a little bit of ginger, berry and gin tonic, and rosé for just the topper. don't know why I have Wonka stuck in my head, but I guess it's because we keep seeing those Target commercials that has pure imagination. Four. What I'm needing is a little bit of music. There we go.
Okay.
Let's try this again.
It's not dance. It's not but on the dance floor. Hey, 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 but on the dance floor. You better get the groove, DJ. Gonna burn this goddamn house right down. But on the dance floor. You gonna kill the groove, DJ. Gonna burn this goddamn house right down. Oh no, 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 no. It's murder on the dance floor. You gonna kill the groove. Hey, 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 dance floor. Dance floor. Don't think you'll get away. I won't prove you wrong. I'll take you all the way. Say another song. Hear me on the way. Yeah.
Cool. Now setting the sides of my nose, going in with my NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop blurring powder with a little bit of translucent. And then going in with my pink translucent soft touch powder. Have to turn that phone's volume off. Oh yeah. Alright. Now contour. So starting off with my deepest contour, I'm going to take my Creme Shop PCH California Dreamin' bronzer. I'm just sculpting out the cheekbones. Next, going in with my LA Colors bronzer in Beach Babe. I'm going to take a denser brush. There's nothing better once you start contouring the cheeks, how it really just kind of ties everything in. But then the best part is when you add the blush on top to give the life back. Yep. And then taking my Charlotte Tilbury in 2 medium. Alright. And then the jawline, not taking any extra products. Oh, don't start this down nose. Okay. And then before going in with anything, I'm going to take a blank powder puff, and we're going to take my setting powder and cut these cheeks. Next side. And then with blush, I wanted to kind of offset it a little with some orange, so I'm going to go in with my Tangerine Duo Blush from She Glam with a bit of my Profusion Social Butterfly Blush. Just something kind of orangey and peachy. Oh yeah. Just kind of offsets that color a little bit. I'm not interested in doing any co-hosting. Don't bother asking. Don't care if it's a way to get more views. I will handle that my own way. And then just taking whatever's left on that puff, we're going to Alright. And taking just a little. Alright, next up is highlighter. Now, of course, I guess lately all of my videos I've had the same trend of using these blue highlighters, but I'm working with the blue shadows, so I'm gonna take my Profusion dusting powder, and I'm just gonna call it Diamond Light because it's just this like iridescently white shimmer powder. I'm working that as a base before putting on this blue. And then taking this Icy Wickedly Glam from LA Colors during their Halloween. And this just adds that bluish hue. And then taking just a little bit more. We're dusting this on the outer corners of the brow. Cool. Literally. I gotta remember my spatial surroundings here. I'm sitting here knocking in everything. And now to kind of push all this together, taking my adjustable foundation powder from Ulta. Just gonna dust off the bake here. Alright, now time to be working on the lower part of the eyes, and we are going to start off with my waterline using my white eyeshadow stick that just loves to disappear. So to start off, I'm going to be taking the yellow from the Glam Light palette, and we're going to try pulling this yellow further in and then cutting it off with the blue. Kind of like that. And then going in with Sapphire. Kind of like so. It's kind of like a little fun tricksy moment where you pull this liner or shadow. And then taking royal blue from Glam Light here. And that just kind of helps to pull the color scheme around. God damn it, my nose. Yeah, there we go. It's kind of starting to pull together. Uh-oh. There we go. Alright, and to kind of clean up this look, I'm going to take my CoverGirl powder here. There we go. And then add onto the lid. My nose. And then to add just a little bit of shimmer fun, I'm going to take this Hypnotic Lights from Milani. And we're just going to add this on the upper part of the lid here. Stuff's probably almost dried out, but I've had this for so long. There we go. You'll be lonely to run, longing to come with us. Found that liner, guys. Damn it. Oh well, already there now. Alright, speaking of liner, that's the next step. Just going in with my e.l.f. liner here. Okay. finite that under eye. We're going to take my little Maybelline Master Precise liner. Much better. For some reason this left eye's not wanting to cooperate. Much better. Alrighty, liner's done. So all that's left now is just some lips and then lashes. And with my lashes today, I actually have this cute little funky combo that I made from my my Great Fairy look that I did for Halloween. So I have these like really cool blue-hued lashes with some pinks on them, which will match perfectly for this look. And for lips today, I have a combo of using my Superstay ink from Maybelline, which is 105 Explorer. And we're going to also go in with a little bit of this liquid catsuit called Late Night Done Right from Wet n Wild. This will kind of have that blue tone that ties into the lips. Alright. Okay, for the overall lip color, I'm going to take this Revlon HD Matte Lip Mousse in the shade Death Valley. Alright, to kind of help out with the outline of the lips, I'm going to take that Late Night Done Right from Wet n Wild and a lip brush. Whether this is one or not, it works well for mine. Okay. This brush to now what I'm going to do is take a bit of a foundation stick from Wet n Wild here. I'm gonna blot this on the center of the lips to give that Death Valley something to grasp onto. And just to add a gloss on top, I'm going to be taking my Gemini, yes, Wet n Wild Horoscope lip gloss, which has some purple and blue reflex. There we go. Just kind of ties those colors offset together. And now for the lashes. Ooh, there we go. Oop, nope, pull it like that. Every time I do that powder, my nose just wants to freaking run. So easily. Okay. Some mascara. Cool. And what's up now is just the hair pieces, and I guess we would be considered done. Starting off with my little baby here. Clip on. I need to shift it across the bed here. Alright. I guess this will conclude our little Butterfly Pea Flower inspired makeup look. Kind of clowny, kind of vibrant and out of the box. Still can't say that it didn't turn out. Wasn't as engaging, but at the same time been kind of going through some things lately. However, I did need this to kind of get me out of that little funk a little bit, but I'm really happy with how this turned out. Super vibrant, super fun, just kind of out of the box and crazy. Oh, that's what it was. But once again, I can't thank you guys enough for sticking around for this. I definitely enjoyed having at least a bit of a mental time to push myself out of my little box here and just go all out. Still can't say that it didn't turn out. So, as usual, I can't thank you guys enough for the love and support you've all given me over the years. If you did like this little makeup journey we went on, peas, please be sure to like and subscribe to all three of my channels at Iris Illusion 2020 on my Instagram, my YouTube, and my TikTok if you want. If the views help out with my algorithm, it helps give people to see what it is I do, and we'll keep pushing it. Until then, guys, love y'all very much. Stay true to yourself, and love y'all. And you guys take care, okay?